Welcome to Jadu Lifestyle, another episode of Jadu Lifestyle where you can create a limitless life. What does that mean for business owners and the community? It means that you can have a life that you love living. Today, we have a special guest. We have Mr. Joe Riggio. He is an entrepreneur, but in my relationship with him, I have gotten some graphic work done, excellent graphic work. I am actually very, very impressed with his work. So I thought that what he had to share would be really informative and interesting for our listeners. So, Joe, welcome.
Yes, thank you, Toddy. Thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it, and it's a great honor to not only be on the show, but also to be, helping you out with your projects as well.
Oh, I appreciate that a lot. You've done quite a bit of logo, and I think I gave you like a list of other things we have to get done. But I
Oh,
want
yes, I have that list.
I want to focus a little bit on logos. For instance, we business owners, we need to make a impression out there. What is it you feel that is most important in a logo?
So that's a great question, but let's talk about the logos and what makes them unique, because every company and or business out there is going to have some sort of logo mark, some kind of emblem or branding type of thing about their business. But fun fact is logos have been around a long time and we don't think about it. It was probably first conceived that the Egyptians actually did logos way back when, and it all started with just branding cattle. That was a logo on cattle, and we don't even think about it, but that's what it was. So therefore, logos have evolved over the centuries, and now you can go down the street and you're pelted by 8 million forms of advertisement, and some of them include logos in there, and you just don't realize how many logos are out there. But I've digressed a little bit. But anyway, long story short, what goes into a logo is you're going to actually have to think about your company. So what kind of color scheme or color theory are you going to say with your logo? What type of marks are you going to use in it? Because there's a few different logo styles, either an abstract mark, a word mark, a pictorial mark, emblem, or letter form, which I'll go into each one of those. And as soon as you figure out those, then your logo could start on the process of becoming your brand. So in a sense, let's start with color theory. So color means a lot in a logo. And if I were to give you 3 different color examples and I throw out some words in those colors, Tadia, I want you to give me what you think if I say the colors with the words, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So if I gave you color scheme red and yellow, but I gave you words burger and fries, what does that make you think?
Oh my gosh, I have no idea. Red and yellow.
Yeah, red and yellow, but words burger and fries.
Maybe mustard and ketchup.
Well, you can do mustard ketchup, but usually I'm going a little bit more with like branding. So usually the color schemes that are used with red and yellow are McDonald's. And I've even gotten Burger King that uses red and yellows. So if you think burger and fries, you're thinking red and yellows for their color. Now, let's do this a little bit differently. What if I said drinks and I gave you blue, white, and red? What would you think?
Pepsi.
There you go. I've also had people say Pabst beer, which that's true. They use blue, white, and red in their logo as well. So once again, color plays an important role in making your logo and such. We're going to do one more final one. But if I gave you green, white, and yellow and said money, what would you think of?
Green, white, and yellow?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing comes to mind. Sorry.
Not a problem. You could actually say Fidelity Investments. I've had some people say Edward Jones. So green, white, money, financials. So once again, that just goes in the color. Now, we're talking about the different types of style and logos that are out there. So I'm going to elaborate on them. An abstract mark is a mark that makes you think about the logo and what you've just seen, and you actually have to stop and think about it. And a great example of this type of mark is the Chase Bank logo, because it's just, you don't you don't see a C, you don't see anything. You just see a circle, and you see like little octagon shape with like little cuts into it, and you actually have to sit and think. But Chase has been around for so long now that if you actually see that brand or logo, you actually know it's Chase right away, and you don't think about it. But if anyone's never seen a Chase logo, you're going to stop and think and go, huh, what does that mean? And then it makes you think, sort of in the sense that I made my logo, but we'll touch base on that later. Another one is called a word mark. Now, this is an interesting mark because the fact the logo actually spells out the company. And great examples of these are Google and eBay. So basically, all they had to use was color, and they actually just had to spell out the word. And they might have to change the font around to make the font look a little fun and different, but that's just their name. But we all know those. A pictorial mark. Now, these are the ones that we pick up right away. We know who they are because they've been branding it for so long. And this is just a strict image of a logo type that's just being seen. And the best products, or the best examples of these, are Nike with the swoosh and Apple with the Apple logo. We don't even have to see the word Apple. We don't have to see the word Nike. We just see the swoosh and go, oh, it's Nike. That's what it is, because they've branded themselves from that. And if you go back to looking at Apple and Nike before they became these pictorial marks, they went through some things where they've merged copy with its image and such, but now they've gone to the part where it's a pictorial and you practically know what it is. Another one is emblem. The emblem style is more of like it's just flat out to show you the name and emphasizes the company brand, almost like a branding iron in a sense, if you want to do emblems again. And the best example of this is Harley Davidson. So Harley Davidson, if you look at it, it has the name right there, but then it also has the little border line around it, so it looks like a branding iron going right on top of it. So you already know what the brand is, you already know what it is, and this emblem can be stamped on anything, and you've seen them on their jackets, their motorcycles, their leather bags, their helmets, whatever you want to do, it's branded on there. The last form is letter form. Now, the letter form mark will probably have maybe 1 or 2 letters to create this logo. So it's very random, but they can almost evolve in their own type of facet that you'll know who they are. And the best example of this is the letter M in McDonald's, because we see the golden arches, and the golden arches are an M. So with that, that kind of talks about the logo style in itself. Now, with those 2 factions, color and what type of style logo you want, the company now has to figure out what's going to be best for them. Now, before I came to my realization with my logo, as thus you and any other business owner prior before us, probably went through some incarnations of logo design and color changes and everything else like that. I mean, I went through at least 10 logo changes before I got to where I was, and now I'm happy with it. But you know, your logo will always be evolving. I mentioned earlier, Nike used to have copy, and now they don't. They just have a swoosh, and they've evolved. So your brand can go through a lot of evolution over the time, but you should really feel comfortable in what your logo is standing out for and what it's branding, and is it you? So with that, now you're going to think about what colors are going to be the best fit for you. So burger, fries, red, yellow, financial, green, white, yellow. Drinks, blue, red, white. I mean, you could even go to massage therapy, and massage therapies or spas like to use blue, white screens, any soothing colors that will promote, health, wellness, and relaxation. So colors play an important fact on that. So other than that, I think I kind of touched a little bit more than on logos. So unless you have another question for me, Toddy, I think I've covered a little bit on logos.
Yes, I have lots of other questions. And
Oh boy.
one of the things that you did for me, I had a logo already. Somehow or the other, when I started my business, I came up with the colors orange, black, and white. And I stuck with those. At one point, I had like chartreuse green in there, but I liked the orange, and the orange actually made me feel like it was more professional. I didn't want to. by profession in the massage therapy industry, and I didn't want to create what I would call a foo-foo type logo because I do very specific structural work to help people get out of pain. So I wanted a logo to reflect that. And so the first graphic artist I used, she literally did like 10 different logos after talking to me, and she had me paste, well, actually, she had me pick out like 4 or 5 of them and then paste it up on my wall in my office. So when I walked by, I could see which one caught my attention and caught my eye. So we came up with the one kind of like I had now, but you worked on that for me. And today we have now maybe 4 logos that you have done that actually has incorporated. As you know, we created the Jadu technique that helps people get out of pain fast. So you actually firmed that logo up and created it with the wording in there also. And then from there, which was kind of a surprise for me, is you took that logo and you added to the other logos that you did for me. So do you have maybe some insight on why you did that?
Yes. So to go back a little bit more, like I said, the evolution of a logo, sometimes you really want to keep what's really working for you. And in your sense, your previous graphic designer before I had already established a logo, but you wanted to improve upon it. You wanted to add and change a little bit. So that's a healthy change to do. Did the whole design for that logo? No, because there was already a strong foundation. But did I add stuff to enhance it? Yes, I did. Now, for the other 3 logos that we did, I actually thought about it when I was, late in the early in the mornings, afternoons, or evenings when I'm working on your projects. I basically have these clarity moments where I sit and I sketch and I just figure out and go, you know what? You already have Jadu. So why don't we just use Jadu and try to incorporate this into the other logos? The worst a client can ever say is, no, I don't like it. And then you scrap it. But at least if I show you at least 10 variances of what it could look like, and you say, well, I really like this, but I don't like the colors, or I like this and whatnot, you can do that. But I really thought for your brand, how we've had these discussions over months and months and months, that we basically established that you want a brand, you want to have this style, this is what you want. So if this is what you really need and desire and want, I'm going to try to keep this standards of your brand to keep it consistent, because guess what? If we would have changed if we didn't put your logo in the other designs of sorts and enhance it, would your brand still be your brand? Maybe not, depending, because as you said, you had your designer post stuff up on your wall and you walked by to see what caught your eye. So these are things you got to think about. But that's what I kind of did with the evolution of your logo, from the good foundation that I already had and just enhanced it. Just like going into a house and you say, oh, I want new cabinetry because the old ones are there, but the walls are still strong. So let's use the foundation, add enhancement, and now it looks better. So that's pretty much it.
Okay, so that worked for me because I really liked it, even though I didn't think about it before, but that's what you're there for. You're there to think about things I don't think about. But also, what we've been working on is as we develop the Jadu lifestyle, and for our listeners, and when you look at our Society Bites radio internet site for us, you will see the Jadu lifestyle logo there, and you will see the Jadu as well as the lifestyle. The thing is, with that, we've actually created the 3 pieces: the time, health, and money, or well, and Joe created the logo for not the logo, but the graphics for that. For instance, we created first the form that deals with the functions of the body. And then next we created the graphics to deal with time, the before Jadu lifestyle and after Jadu lifestyle. And I want to tell you, Joe, I don't know if I've told you this or not, but I'm in the process of writing the Jadu lifestyle book and workbook, and all the graphics that you've done is actually going into the chapters of that book, because as I talk about time, I'm going to literally put in the graphics so that people can see and it can be explained to them. It's the same thing with the health aspect. When we deal with the functions of the body, we have that circular chart that we did that I'm going to insert into the book. And oh, by the way, you've done book covers for me too. So
Mhm.
I'm thinking about the idea for the book cover for the Jadoo lifestyle. And I think we're going to use those graphics on the cover also.